All right, guys and gals, welcome back to SOS. I'm Staff Sergeant Badass. It's getting crazy, isn't it? You know, you're looking at things just like I am. You are seeing everything going on, and you're like, ah, you're probably some of you are probably like me. You watch like the stock market. You watch everything. You watch it all. I see it all. I keep track of everything that's happening. Boy, the housing market is taking a beating. It's bad. And that Bank of Japan thing. Wow. BOJ. If you're not watching all this stuff that's been happening, I can't fill you in on everything. It's just too much. The list is way too long. It's bad. And I was sharing something today. This is, by the way, this is 50 items to stockpile before election chaos, and I'm basing this off of another person's article of another person's article of another person's article. My items are totally different because I am a survivalist. There is something that separates the men from the boys. I am a survivalist. I do teach people how to survive. There is a major difference between me and them. Okay, I am a real Marine, and then there are the fake pretending to be military YouTubers, and there are the fake medical people on YouTube. Please don't take advice from Ricky Recon and Ricky freaking medic wee woo siren boy, or you come over here. We have a real EMT slash ER trauma nurse over here on this channel, so just keep that in mind. I have to point that out because people don't understand where they're getting their advice from, and it's like, whoa, dude, be careful with some of that stuff because it could get you in trouble, and some of the advice is very bad. Okay, but no, someone else's article, and this kind of falls into from author to author to author to author. One of my favorites is Jim Cobb. I'm just going to say it. I know I've got a few of his books in like my Amazon store under books. And I promote his books because I really like what he has to say. He's a real dude, makes sense, and he's been around for a while. And he's one of the authors for. He writes a lot of the tabloids for Prepper magazine. So if you're ever like at the grocery store and you see like Prepper magazine, he's there. And I've met him once. I was at a prepper convention and just kind of strolling through there. I met a lot of people at the prepper conventions. Some folks don't like me. That notice me at all. They don't like me either. No, I usually go disguised, wear my big nose with my fake glasses. I'm just kidding. I don't do any of that stuff. But now I run into a few people every now and then. But this kind of goes back to some of the stuff that he's written. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. That goes back to some of the stuff that he's written. Now, where would you tell somebody if you had 50 items to stockpile? Where would you start? Okay, one. I wouldn't categorize it the way they had categorized it because number one for them is something totally different than what I would say. I would say number one. Do you know how much water you drink? How much water do you drink? Number one for me would go into the category of water because, and a lot of people would say, well, number one for me is the Bible and the Lord. Look, I've got it on the list. I need you to stay alive first because God gave you a brain. He gave you a brain to develop skills and to develop those skills to stay alive. Okay, so for the people out there, you need Jesus. All right. So number one in that category would definitely have to be water, okay? And when I say water, I don't mean you could just buy some bottled water to have on hand for an event. And now I'm going to give you number two. Number two is going to be a water filtration system. You can do Berkey, you can do because I can't classify one field because someone's going to forget. If you're making a grocery list and you're going shopping for something, okay, BA says water for number one. Okay, I can't do that because then you're going to get confused. But water, number one. have water on hand. We keep water. I'm trying to keep you at what I've got. We keep drinkable water in the home. Okay, in the case something gets crazy. I mean, because the what if, what if grasshoppers had little machine guns? The birds wouldn't mess with them. Anyway, so if something happens, say a tornado, you've got to go down to your basement. You got to lock in somewhere. You've got water and everything you need right in your house, so you don't have that problem. That goes with everything else that you might need if something happened. And water filtration, Berkeys are good, but they can only filtrate water for so long. So you're going to want to have replacement filters for that Berkey. And you don't have to. I've got a video on how to make your own homemade Berkey. You don't have to go spend a lot of money on a Berkey. And because those, even the fake knockoff Berkeys are upwards of $100. So that stuff gets expensive and it adds up. People on a budget, So you can just go to Lowe's and get a couple of 55-gallon buckets and order your filters, and then drill your holes, put your filters in place, have that sucker drip through into your other bucket, and then put yourself a little spigot on the end there. And I mean, dude, you might spend $25, something like that, and you got yourself a hole. But it's bigger than a Berkey because it's putting out 5 gallons. So, excuse me, breakfast. It's burping up. Nothing burps better than bacon, let me tell you. So, like number 2, and number 3, rain catchment systems. I think that was on their list, but I'm going to point it out because I have it. So I want to just bounce that off of that. I have IBC totes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 IBC totes, and I try not to lose track of them because I have gutter system, gutter system, gutter system, gutter system, and then gutter system. They're all gutter system, and they work great. I use them solely for. I have a gas-powered pump. The gas-powered pump runs into a fire hose that it's utilized in case my property catches fire. I know that goes into another firefighting gear. So you can put that in the list. But I use that for putting out fires if a fire was to break out here because there's woods all around us. And then also because that gas-powered pump, it shoots it fast. Plus I have a pond. And that's another thing that goes with water. Water's key. And garden, animals, livestock, all that stuff. So check. And if I have to boil, filter, all that stuff, I can do that. Have stuff for boiling, filter, and all that stuff. But that goes with water. Okay. Like number 4. I think we're on number 4. Don't worry, I'll speed this up. But there's so many items, right? Number 4, food. Lots of food. Number 5, not just number 4, because you could write down every little list as 4, 5, 6. Because number 4, you could put rice. Number 5, freeze dried foods. Number 6, canned foods. You can eat canned foods up to 8 years, so you can leave them in rotation for 8 years. Once they reach 8 years, they're really just no good. They're like, there's no nutritional value at 8 years. So keep that in mind before you go tossing it. Don't just toss it right away. The one food I do not put as far as canned foods go for storage is kidney beans. Kidney beans, if they expire, they can kill you. So keep that in mind. That also goes with, people always talk to me about aspirin. Aspirin expires. It only lasts like a year. And if it expires and goes bad, it'll kill you. Okay. Most people don't say that. You got to have medical supplies. Check. Done. And nobody ever tells you, go through your meds. Go through your meds. Not just stockpile, but go through your stuff. See what you do have before you go buying stuff. Flour, you want to do, get yourself some 55-gallon buckets and some 5-gallon bucket, as you were. 5-gallon buckets. Get yourself some 5 or 6-gallon Mylar bags. That way you got a little bit of space. Order you a whole bunch of those. You don't need oxygen absorbers for a lot of this stuff. You can also use hand warmers if you don't have oxygen absorbers. You can also use socks and crystal kitty litter. You can make desiccant packs. That'll absorb a lot of the oxygen and stuff. That works for your ammo cans. Need to have ammunition. That's like number 6 or 7 on my list. I don't even know if I'm in order anymore, but I'm giving you a list of things that you're probably going to want to stockpile. Key thing is food, though. Key thing is food. Freeze-dried foods are good. You're going to want powdered milk. If you've got a baby, stock up on baby formula now, but don't get crazy with it and hoard all of it, and then it makes it chaotic for all the other parents out there. So don't be a weirdo. Just get what you need. If you're really concerned about it, do like us, get goats, because babies can drink goat milk. Some babies, and it's supposed to be real gentle on their tummies, especially for a lot of babies nowadays. Everything's got to be gentle on a baby's tummy. We have a baby, so and we have 4 other kids, so we've been through a lot with kids. And if you've got a kid and you're concerned about food, you're going to want to do the rice for babies too. You want to try and that stuff really doesn't go bad. I mean, you can keep that stuff for a couple of years, so you want to put that stuff up as well. We do totes. Get totes, but I'm getting distracted from this. But pasta, okay. All those things and hygiene gear. You're gonna want hygiene gear. Toothpaste, toothbrush. Make sure you have a spare. Soap, shampoo, stuff for dishes, stuff for laundry, all that stuff. You're going to want to have a spare, just at least a spare. If you don't have a spare, then you're not going to be doing any of those things when something happens. So make sure you have a spare. Down my list, I would say, because I kind of covered food just now, I wanted to make sure that you guys know that stuff. But down my list would be, you don't go down the list of like weapons and such, but you kind of want to go through, because there's so much stuff that you can do. You can prep and buy gold, you can prep and buy silver, but with all the talks of everything going on, it's going to be hard to do all that stuff. You're going to want bug out bags for every family member, that's for sure. You're going to want a generator, some means of alternate power. Solar power would be good. Solar generator. You're going to want to get that stuff hooked up right away before anything bad happens. Spare clothing and stuff like that's another thing on my list. We have material. We've been collecting material for a long time. Wife makes clothes, so on the side of that, it's good to have somebody that can make clothes. Sewing machine, sewing equipment, that sort of thing you're going to need. If you have pets, dogs, you're going to want spare dog food. That's another thing that we do. Since we have animals, we have so many animals, we have to buy bulk food. And when we buy bulk food, we actually have to store it, so that other pests don't get in it. And you can store dog food. And if you've got a freeze dryer, if you don't have a freeze dryer, if you do have a freeze dryer, you can freeze dry dog food. I know this list seems kind of crazy, but my list is a little bit different. Most people, when they say these lists, they only mention ammunition. I would take it a step further and say, if you don't have a security system, get one. And if you don't have a firearm, get one. If you can't have one of those, you better and should have some sort of bow, or less lethal or something. You need something. Knives. That's another one on my list. I don't know how far down my list I am. I know it's pretty long, but I'm just sort of naming off stuff that you would probably want to get if you don't have one or need. Knives. I know a lot of men that don't have any problem buying more knives. And but if you do not have a machete, get one. Hey, you can just think of all the different medieval tools. An axe, get one if you don't have one. Because their list stopped at knife. Make sure you have a knife. I would take that a step further and say axe, hatchet, machete, freaking sling blade. You know, you should be accumulating all of those. And I take it a step further. If you're doing a generator or a solar generator are nice because they're quiet. If you live in a city where you're concerned about a lot of noise, go back to that movie Blackout. If you're concerned about a lot of noise, solar generator is the way to go, which that's what we have as well. You can do a solar generator, you get enough power for everything. And if you've got a solar generator, you can run a welder. And running a welder, you can make things. You know, you can turn your vehicle into Mad Max if need be. So I keep scrap parts also. That's another thing, but that doesn't really go into that. But when I talk about the food portion of this, if you've got a deep freeze, I would definitely try to stock it with as much meat as possible, because you're going to need and calorie related stuff. Drinks, you can do. It's okay for some of you out there that need to stock stuff for barter and trade, say whiskey and vodka or whatever it is that you're storing. You can also store alcohol for that. Cigarettes as well, barter items. Ammunition's a good barter item. Just stick with the common ammunition that everybody else uses. You got to be careful with bartering and trading for in exchange ammunition for whatever, because obviously the person who's bartering, trading ammunition for whatever else another person's got, obviously that person has guns, you know, or they wouldn't be giving you ammunition. And I wouldn't find that a concern, really. Sorry. Going down my list here, but fuel was the other thing. If you don't have fuel stored, you should get fuel stored. I would focus on, if you have a diesel vehicle, do like I've done. I've got storage tanks here. I carry it's a few hundred gallons, but I do that because I have a tractor as well as a diesel guzzling truck, and they actually drink less diesel than people think. That's one thing good about a diesel vehicle, is it definitely doesn't go through the fuel as fast. But I hate having to buy DEF. I think that's just the stupidest thing for vehicles. That's cat pee. And that's another thing. If you've got a diesel, you haven't deleted your future version of a diesel truck, then I suggest you get some DEF and put it on hand. Because if the balloon goes up now, what are you going to do? I mean, if something happens, it's going to be a lot of fun trying to get everything unmessed with, but changing out a computer isn't going to just happen during the apocalypse, because if it's 100 miles away, it's going to be kind of hard to get to it. So, but fuels, chainsaw, chainsaw's good to have. All your alternate fuels, oils. Have a change of oil for all your vehicles. Toilet paper, make sure you have that. That kind of goes with all that stuff pretty much. And that pretty much covers it. I just wanted to make sure. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I would tell you guys to stock up on. Get a Bible for every member of your family. You're probably going to need it. But you think about tools and equipment. Once you check off water, food, and down the list, and weapons and whatnot, and body armor or whatever else you can think of, you want to think, hey, well, all this stuff is covered. But see, when I went down my list, I didn't number it off like everyone else. They'll put rice, this type of bean, this type. You ain't got to do all that because you're going to need sugar, baking supplies. You're going to need all that stuff. It's a real simple fix for. And then when you sit and you're watching it just like me and you're saying, hey, I'm taking a look around and I think I'm probably going to need this stuff. One more, alternate cooking methods. Make sure you have alternate. All the above. Wood, heating your home. Make sure you've got ways to heat your home and ways to keep your home cool or yourself cool. You can make your own list. It's so easy. It's going down the list of things that you would use every day and that you would need, when you think about it. But it's real simple to do. But I know you're all thinking the same thing I'm thinking. It's like, hey, I should probably pick up a few more cans of tuna. That was me yesterday. I said, hey, I kind of want to get a few more cans of tuna. It's like weird stuff like that. More proteins, right? What if you want to have a barbecue? You got to make sure you got plenty of proteins. But that's it. That's it in a nutshell. Ways of making stuff, ways of building stuff, ways of repairing stuff. How much PVC pipe do you have laying around? Steel pipe, wire. How much spare wire do you have? Extension cords. That's me. That's what I do all the time. I'm always coming up with something. And I keep a little, my own little inventory of stuff. I'm not a hoarder. I make sure I can reuse it, use it up and reuse it. And that's the motto. But if you like this little topic, I hope it helps. That should pretty much cover it. But if you like this topic, and just give me a thumbs up, let me know, and please share with your buddies and stuff, and especially people that just don't have a clue. I mean, we don't know what's coming. I can't tell you what's coming. I know that the world's getting weirder every day, and there's Venezuelans taking over apartment complexes in Colorado, and I find that to be really strange. And why hasn't the FBI nabbed those people yet? So weird. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. God bless, take care, and stay sane.